Welcome back. As you can probably notice, I'm trying this new iPhone video cinematic camera. I think a lot of people are using this now, so I'm going to see how this goes. Looks like it blurs out the background. I'm sure there are settings I can set, but let's try this for a video. Feel free in the comments, let me know if it's a good or bad idea. I'll see how it looks at the end. But today I just wanted to cover just a bunch of recent records that I've bought. I've been on a little bit of a spree, and some stuff that I'm really excited about that I've yet to even spin. And there's a couple big releases on the way, which I'll talk about in the next video. And then I'm going to close with a little story about my brother and me from about 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. It's very related to music. And that's what we're gonna do. So to start it off, this is probably the release I was most excited about this year. The Vinyl Me Please reissue of Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska, 40th anniversary, half-speed mastered, 180 gram vinyl. I listened to it and I don't know who that person is. I've never seen that picture before unless that's in the original Nebraska and I just missed it. It's one of my favorite records, right? I think it's one of the greatest records about America ever made. Just a tremendous storytelling album. And the original pressings are shaky. And then it was reissued in the Springsteen box set maybe 5 or 6, maybe 10 years ago. Those sound better, but this one I listened to it once and it sounds great. Also from Vinyl Me Please, yet to be opened, Fiona Apple's Extraordinary Machine, 2 LP, 180 gram green vinyl, heavyweight stuff. I remember really liking this album when it came out, so it was my pick for the month. What month? The month after? The month before Springsteen. Another Vinyl Me Please. Aretha Franklin's I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. I was introduced to this on CD by my friend Fred in college, up in school in Boston. He bought me a Skip James record and this record on CD. 2 tremendous records. I have this on vinyl, but one of the greatest records ever, and to have it on a repress, what I'm sure is going to sound great, is such a treat. Recent discovery, and I may have put this on a previous video. If I did, I apologize. Terry Allen, Lubbock on Everything. Learned about him through Wilco's Solid Sound Festival. Terry Allen played this year, and there's a cool story. I'm not sure if I have it exactly right, but Terry Allen, I think, is in his mid-70s, and he was on the bill for Solid Sound, which is Wilco's festival at Mass MoCA in Western Massachusetts every 2 years in June. And I read somewhere that David Byrne, I think, called Wilco's management or got Jeff Tweedy's number. Again, this I'm going by second or third hand, so it could be a little bit off, but I'm sure the spirit of the story is hopefully right. And he asked if he could go to that festival because he wanted to see Terry Allen. And of course, Wilco's camp happily agreed, and then they ended up playing California Stars together. I think on the Sunday when Jeff Tweedy does his sort of Tweedy and Friends, and he brought out David Byrne to sing California Stars. That was pretty great. 2 copies of this, which is, I have the regular and the like the indie version. It's colored green. I think it's green. This is in contention for my album of the year. Just the record is Planes. I Walked With You a Ways. Katie Crutchfield, I think that's her last name, from Waxahachie, has teamed up with, I can't remember the other woman's name, just to create I think Katie Waxahachie is probably the best thing going in music right now in terms of songwriting, melodies, just songs. They're just beautiful songs. I cannot wait to see her live. So that Plains record, this is a big one, and probably up there with Nebraska, one of the records I was most excited about because it's one of my favorite albums of all time, and it's released as a UHQR, Steely Dan's Can't Buy a Thrill. This is Steely Dan's debut, I'm pretty sure. 1972, I wasn't even born yet. This record meant a ton to my brother and me. We listened to it on cassette so much in our cars in high school, college. My high school yearbook quote is from the song Midnight Cruiser. I have two quotes. One from Rosalita, "Someday we'll look back on this and it will all seem funny." It's pretty good, right? And then the Midnight Cruiser line, which is escaping me right now. But I listened to this and it sounds absolutely tremendous. I have two more UHQRs on the way. I got Asia and Pretzel Logic. Just a couple more here. The Low record, Hey What? It was obviously very sad to hear about the passing of Mimi Parker. I have seen Low, I think, 3 times, and they were great every time. Such a unique band. The guitar playing and the harmonies between Mimi and Alan, who I believe they were married, are just tremendous, and they're just such an original act. I mean, look, it's pretty minimalist art. So this has gotten amazing reviews. My favorite Low record is probably Destroyer. Is that what it's called, with California on it? I don't know if that's considered one of their best, but it's the most, to me, it's the most accessible, and I listened to it when it came out, maybe 2005. I think it was right after I moved to California, and I was listening to that record nonstop. So very sad to hear of Mimi's passing. Great band, Low, from Duluth, Minnesota. My condolences if anybody in that camp seems to find their way to this video. Her music had a huge impact on me. Next, The Spoon, not a reissue, the re-rendering of the latest Spoon record, which is called Lucifer on the Moon. The latest Spoon record is called Lucifer on the Sofa. This is called Lucifer on the Moon. I listened to it. I love this record. It's also in contention for my album of the year, the original, Lucifer on the Sofa. And I listened to this on Apple Music, and it sounds great. I'll probably spin it today. A couple more. I just said that. The latest Josh Rouse record. His records in the early 2000s, which I've talked about a lot here, he had 3 in a row of Under Cold Blue Stars, 1972 in Nashville. I don't know if it's in that order. I think it's in that order. And those were 3 phenomenal records. He also has The Smooth Sounds of Josh Rouse, which I think only came out on CD. I don't think it was ever released digitally, which is just a tremendous record. Has the song Michigan, which is one of the best songs of that decade. But the last few Josh Rouse records I haven't really gotten into, but this one I listened to and quite enjoyed. I think Josh lives in Spain now, so plastic will be coming off this the next day or two. This I did listen to, but the plastic is still on it. This is a record that I grew up with. I heard it in the house all the time. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Is Young on this one? Yes, of course he is. So Far. I didn't know Joni Mitchell. That was a Joni Mitchell drawing. But just, it takes me back to being 10 years old. Helplessly Hoping, Wooden Ships, Ohio, Woodstock, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, just an all-timer. Another record that I was absolutely thrilled to hear that it was being reissued, Caitlin Carey, formerly of Whiskeytown. I believe this is her first solo record after Whiskeytown disbanded. While You Weren't Looking, I remember I bought this at Barnes & Noble in Union Square. I was living in New York at the time, and I remember searching all over, and I finally found it at Barnes & Noble in Union Square. I think that Barnes & Noble is still there. But this is a great, great record. Shallow Heart, Shallow Water, love that song. What Will You Do? Just Please Don't Hurry Your Heart. Caitlin Carey, check out that record if you haven't heard it. Two more. Got this yesterday. Another exceptional Vinyl Me Please. I'm telling you that it's like they're servicing my reissue needs. Townes Van Zant's Live at the Old Quarter, Houston, Texas. One of the greatest live albums ever. Townes at his absolute best. Reissued. I cannot wait to listen to this. What a golden moment captured, or a golden performance captured. Sounds like there's not even that many people there. Townes is worried about the room's too hot. He's cracking his jokes. What a record. And then finally, and I have no real comment on this yet, the new Bruce Springsteen Souls cover record, Only the Strong Survive. So I think I've spoken on this channel about Night Shift. That's it was a late era Commodores song, I think. Late era? 80s, early 80s. One of my earliest favorite songs at like 8 or 9 years old. I think I got the cassette single, or maybe the vinyl single. So the three songs that that he released in advance, I really liked. Night Shift, Do I Love You, Indeed I Do, and what was the other one? I don't know what the other one was. But this, I gotta say, I wonder if he's gonna play these on the tour. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it for another video. I think I'm gonna be doing a video with somebody else, and we're gonna be talking about that record, so I will leave the rest. Finally, a story, and I may have told this story, but I got a photo printed and framed related to this story recently, and it reminded me of it, and I now put it, it's in my staircase hallway as I walk up and down the stairs each day. I see this, and it reminds me of this day. So it was probably 1999 or 2000. Lane and I, my brother, had decided that we were going to write a book about Uncle Tupelo. And I know I've mentioned this on the channel, but we got pretty far. I think I wrote about 70 pages. He had about close to that. And then there was, my relationship with my brother is a very long and complicated history, which is obviously incredibly difficult because he's now gone and he can't have his say in anything regarding family stuff. So I don't really talk about that. But we were working on this book and it sort of fell by the wayside after some family stuff. We never completed it, and I think it's sitting on my first iMac that I bought. I got the ones with the handle. I got the big bubble. I got the gray one. My first Apple product. Fell in love with it. But Lane and I decided we were going to drive from New Jersey, where we were both, I think I was living, I don't think I'd moved to Brooklyn yet. So maybe it was 1998. And he was nearing the end of law school. And we drove straight from New Jersey to St. Louis with the intent of just finding some stuff on Jay Farrar, Mike Hydorn, and Jeff Tweedy in their hometown of Belleville, Illinois, which is right over the border from St. Louis. We drove in different cars. I still don't know why we did that. I guess he probably drove back to Ohio after, and I drove back to Jersey. But I remember on the way there, he like pulled up next to me on a highway, and he was trying to put a piece of paper on the window, and it was the title that he had come up with for the book. And it said Mining Traditional Terrain, which I think there was no cell phones at the time, so I couldn't like call him but I remember I saw that and I was like, that's the name. Perfect. Mining Traditional Terrain. One day that book might come out, maybe by me or maybe by somebody else. But we get to St. Louis. We drive straight. I don't know how long that is, 18 hours, 16, 12 hours. I don't know. And we get a hotel room and we're like, all right, let's go out. So Lane asks, there's no Yelp or anything. You had to just kind of, I remember we were asking people at the hotel, like, where's a good bar that gives us a good feel of the scene. And I think it was like a Monday, or maybe a Sunday. It was very quiet in St. Louis. But we go into a bar, and there is a country band playing. There's nobody in the bar except for Lane and me, and the band, and the bartender. So we have a couple drinks. They're playing good songs, maybe like Waylon covers. I just remember we were having a really good time. And then the band takes a break. And Lane and I are writing on scratch paper all of our ideas, where we need to go. We ended up going to Belleville West, I think is where Jay and Jeff went to high school. We went to their high school. We took pictures from their yearbook. There's one picture of Jay and Jeff, or Mike and Jay playing hacky sack or something. And I shared this story the other night with some of Lane's friends in Chicago. Lane was trying to convince me to steal the yearbook. He just kept saying snake it when I had it in my hands, and I got too nervous. So had I taken his advice, I'd have Jeff, Jay, and Mike's yearbook here. But I did not do that, and we ended up making photocopies. It was such a cool, the people at the school had no idea who we were talking about. But we're sitting at this bar in St. Louis, and I'm wearing a Sunvolt hat. Sunvolt, as most of you will know, is an offshoot of Uncle Tupelo, Jay Farrar's band that he formed after he departed Uncle Tupelo. And one of the band members just comes up and sort of stands next to me, looks at me, and he said, "Oh, you're a Sunvolt fan." And my brother sort of perks up, and I said, "Yeah, I love them. I'm here with my brother. It's my brother Lane. We're working on a book about his previous band." And I think he said, "You mean Uncle Tupelo?" And I said, Yeah. He said, "I'm Jay Farrar's brother." And it was either, I don't know if it was Dade Farrar or Wade Farrar. I think Jay has either 2 or 3 brothers, but this is the photo of that moment. Sorry, you're seeing a reflection. That's me, Sunvolt hat, Farrar, Lane, Farrar drinking a Guinness. Both Lane and I had beards at the time. And this was in that bar in St. Louis, Missouri. What are the odds of that? We're writing a book about the brother of the guy in the band. The joy in Lane's face, I'll never, ever, 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 ever forget. We had such a good time. And I figured that would be a good story to tell. So that's all. I will be back. I am honestly trying to do more of these. My life is about to get busier for reasons which maybe I'll share in a upcoming video, but it's going to be a busy couple months, busy 6 months. But I want to thank I got 30 or 40 new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who came on and who is new. I hope you enjoyed these videos, and I'll be back within a week. Hope you all have a good week.